Please do me a favor. Leave them a review. They promised me a bottle of bourbon.
Hey everyone, welcome to the S.O.B Marketing Podcast, where we celebrate the S.O.B that you are, and if you haven't figured it out yet, we mean small-owned business. We don't mean S.O.B.
Listen, we know that as a small business owner, you are working hard on the daily to keep your business fully operational while trying to promote it. And while some days it may feel like the business is owning you, if we're being honest with each other, I bet you would admit that you wouldn't give up the insanity for anything.
Our commitment here at the S.O.B Marketing Podcast is to give you the real talk, what works when it comes to advertising, marketing, promoting your business, and then what doesn't really work.
And Chelsea and I promise to always keep the conversation real. We're back.
Oh.
I know it's not Halloween anymore, but we are still kind of creepy around here. Perma creepers. All right, you little SOBs, we're glad that you joined us for another episode of the SOB Marketing Podcast. If you are new here, or if you're not new here, but you haven't hit that subscribe button, we're going to tell you, what are you doing? We want you to hit that subscribe button so that you guys get a notification every time a new episode drops, because we want you listening to this marketing-centered conversation every week. We promise you guys we are bringing you the best marketing tips that we have, and also keeping you informed of new things that you're going to be seeing in 2026, going into 2027. And you kind of need to know in order to best promote your small business, right? And make those sales cha-ching. Ooh. So, friendly reminder before we hop into our topic for this week. There is a TLDL section, okay? It's something that's specific to this podcast. Too long didn't listen. There's going to be a chapter at the end of the podcast that you can fast forward to if you're in a hurry. Chelsea here, my beautiful sister, will give you a rundown of the basics, what we talked about in this conversation. And then we're going to encourage you to come back and listen to the full-length conversation, because that's where all of the juicy details are, okay?
Absolutely.
And the last thing I'm going to tell you is, buy us a coffee.
Oh, please buy me coffee.
Yes, let's get Chelsea caffeinated. If you guys like the conversations we're having, this is the best way for you to support this podcast. It really is a metaphor, right? It's just a way for you to support. We're actually not going to go out there and you're not buying us a physical coffee, but it's a donation of $5 here and there. You could give us as many quote unquote coffees as you want, and it will help us to continue making this type of content. Because we believe every small business owner out there deserves to have a flourishing business. All right? Let's quit ordering stuff on Amazon, you guys. All right, let's support local small businesses.
Absolutely.
All right, what is the topic today, Chels?
Okay, Vivian, today we are looking back at 2025 and we're reviewing. We're going to mention 5 questions that we want you guys to ask yourself during your year-end review of your small business.
I mean, it is that time of year.
It is.
So when you are listening to this episode, it is going to be the beginning of December. All right. Yes. That means you guys know the drill. Holiday season's going to be busy, busy. And then it's going to be New Year's. And then you're going to be like, what am I doing with my marketing this year? So we want to start that conversation early.
Yes, we want to have this. This is like the beginning of the conversation. And for the rest of December, we're going to have these big conversations. Marketing plan, how to build a marketing plan for 2026. Marketing budget, how do you build a budget for the new year? All of these conversations we're going to have this final month of 2025, because we want you guys to feel confident and ready to go into 2026 and make the, what did you say earlier? Cha-ching. Make the sales.
That, and also we want you to, there's one part of small business ownership, and I say this from experience, that I think a lot of us, we kind of gloss over. Social media they have the ability to polish a turd. I'm just going to say that, okay?
Okay.
And so what I mean by that is everyone will show you the really great parts of being a small business owner and how they're so successful and they're making it and how they were able to launch this campaign. And that's great. That's inspirational. We love those stories. We also want you to be very protective of your mental health.
Yes.
And we don't want you floundering in 2026. If 2025 was a rough year for you as a small business owner because you felt like you just couldn't get a grasp on your marketing or something wasn't working, maybe your social media wasn't taking off, we want you to move into the next year with clarity. And these questions that we're going to talk about today is, like Chelsea said, the opening of that gate.
Yes.
Let's start thinking about evaluating what we did this year, what we liked, what we didn't like, what didn't work, and then what we want to change for the next.
Absolutely. So before we get started with today's conversation, though, you know what time it is. It's time for the beep, 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 the marketing hot take.
I love all the sound effects we're doing. Cha-ching.
Cha-ching.
I can't even do the pew, pew, pew one.
You can't do pew, 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 pew.
No, so that's you.
No? Okay. Well, my marketing hot take for this week, let's see if Vivian agrees or not, is reviewing your performance is just as important, if not more important, than planning out for your performance.
Yes.
Does that make sense? Because here's the thing. If you're planning something out, but you're not reviewing what happened last time, I mean, what do you do? Like, there's no room for growth when you don't know where you need to grow.
I actually agree with you on this hot take. Yeah. She's going to write this down in her journal. Dear journal.
Dear diary.
Dear diary.
Today, Vivian agreed with me.
For the first time now. But I do agree because you have a tendency of staying stuck if you're not looking back and evaluating, okay? Like you said, best laid plans. We want you to have a plan, and it's wonderful because you're going to feel organized. You're going to have a schedule. You're going to feel like I'm on top of what I need to be doing to promote my business.
Yeah.
But if there's no reconciliation somewhere in there, if 3 months in, 4 months in, 6 months in, you're not saying, hey, let me hit pause, take a day, and I don't mean a full day, you guys. I mean, take 2 hours out of a day or within a week and look at what's working, assess it. Because the other thing is, you need to drop what's not working.
Yeah.
Okay. Drop it. And then that gives you room and space to pick up things that could help you be more efficient.
Absolutely. Okay, I'm glad we agree. So, Vivian, what is the first question, the first thing that we want small business owners to ask themselves when they're looking back at 2025?
Yes. Question number 1 that we want you to ask is, what marketing effort brought you the most customers this year?
Oh.
And do you actually know? Okay.
That was going to be my question. What do you do as a small business owner if you don't know the answer to this question?
Yeah, this is, if you've listened to other podcast episodes of ours before, and you guys, we have over 100 of them, so you could go, binge them right now if you haven't. What you're going to find is we consistently tell you guys that the hard part with marketing is not so much the strategy as much as it is the data collecting, okay?
Yes.
How do you tie in, and how do you know if you get a good positive return on investment if in fact you're not tracking anything, okay? And I get it, and I say this as a marketer who's been doing this a very, very, very long time, probably longer than I would like, but I mean, probably almost as long as you've been alive,
That's
Chelsea.
what I was going to say.
If you guys don't know, Chelsea and I are sisters, 15-year age gap. So Chelsea, you're 20 what now?
I'm 28. No, I'm 27.
I was going to say, you're adding years. Yeah. She's 27. I've been doing this over 20 years. Okay. But my point being, it's the hardest part of marketing. I think the creativity, action plan, putting stuff together, it's easy. It's the exciting stuff, okay?
Yeah.
The research, all of that. What's hard is, how do I tie in when I'm running a billboard? How do I know for a fact that people are calling in from that billboard?
Exactly.
How can I tie it specifically to that? And so that's where sometimes we have to get creative as small business owners. But data is important.
Absolutely. And we want you guys, if for some reason in 2025 you didn't collect any data and you have no idea which marketing effort brought in the most customers, I want you to sit down, reflect, and unfortunately, if you have no data, you're going to have to kind of wing it. You're going to have to...
Kind of like your eyeliner, a wing.
Oh, okay, there you go. But even if you don't have that data, I still want you guys to consider this question. Because let's be honest, there's probably a marketing initiative that you worked on this year that flopped. Let's be honest, it happens. We've all been there. We want you to take a second and reflect and go, I know it's not this one. Probably don't want to spend my money next year, 2026, on this sort of marketing initiative.
Yeah, if you need a physical rundown of what I would do if this were me.
Okay.
What marketing effort brought you the most customers this year? What I would do is I would literally on a piece of paper write down every marketing effort that I did this year. This can include social media.
Sure.
This could include any print ads you did. This could include any type of event that perhaps you worked.
Sure.
Partnership or collaboration you did with somebody. Once that's on paper, I would go through, and if you have analytics or data to support or for you to pinpoint how many customers actually came to you from there, write it down next to it. If you don't, leave a question mark, and then think about what information or how can I change it to where I can start collecting that data.
Love.
All right.
Yeah.
Think of it this way. If you did a collaboration with another small business and you're thinking this is probably something I want to do next year, what would you have to change when you're launching it, when you're communicating this collaboration in order for you to get the data back to see exactly how many customers you get from this initiative? So that way you'll know next year, hey, I got to start, it reminds you, I got to start tracking the data, and this is how I would go about doing it.
Yeah.
On some of it, you may have to, like we said, get a little creative or do a little research to see, is there a way for me to do that?
Yeah.
You guys, QR codes are wonderful. Email list, you're able to segment email lists now.
Absolutely.
All of this stuff, there's technology out there that can help you. And if you get stuck on any one of them, if you're like, I don't exactly know how I could track this, ping us. Send
Absolutely.
us, send us a message, send us an email, and we will 100%
send us a voice message.
Yes, a voice note. If you go to SOBmarketing.com, go over to contact us, scroll down. Literally, there's a button that says record. Record, send us a voice note, and we'll come up with some ideas.
Absolutely. And you know what? It's probably a question that other small business owners have, and they want to hear the answer to, okay? This is my pitch for you guys to send us voice notes. There are no dumb questions.
And it costs you guys nothing, okay?
Exactly. Yeah. Or, I mean, you could send us a coffee, buy us a coffee. Anyways, let's move on to our next year-end question, which is going to be, what do my revenue sources look like? Okay. Let's say you have a storefront. That's a revenue source. Let's say you have a website as well. That's a revenue source. Let's say that you have products that you send out to retailers in your local area. Each one of those locations where you have products sitting there, that's a revenue source. We want you guys to clock all of that, make sure you understand all the places where you could be making revenue. Ask yourself which sources are doing really well, and are there some that, maybe you should shut them down. Maybe there's a in this scenario where you have your products in multiple storefronts, maybe there's one specific one that it's just not selling. It's not a good fit. You know, the vibes just aren't matching.
The vibes are off.
The vibes are off. Maybe pull that partnership and either invest in a different one or send your products off to another storefront that's popping.
Yeah.
Okay? But the important thing is that you're taking the time to really review all of this and see where you can make the changes to really ramp up sales in the new year. It could also be that you want to start actually leaving your products in stores. Maybe you're not doing that yet. So maybe you want to start a new revenue source. These are all things to consider.
Yeah, and I think it's also a good reminder that when when you're evaluating the revenue sources and what they look like, you mentioned website.
Yes.
If you're using a website, you have a Shopify site, and let's say you're like, okay, that's one of my revenue sources. It really didn't bring in a lot of people. Okay, is that because you didn't take the time to promote it?
Absolutely.
Maybe your messaging needs to be better on your Instagram, or, you need to hit up your email list to remind them like, hey, if you guys are looking to buy my product, you can buy it 24/7 right here, right?
Yes.
So there are other questions or other things this is going to bring up whenever you are looking at it. I do like, though, that you are mentioning if something is not working for your small business, change it up, you guys.
Absolutely.
I know it can be really hard. I say this from personal experience. I'm hard-headed. All right. I want to make things fit, right? And especially when it's like, it almost fits really, really well. If it doesn't, though, if you have a partnership with an existing storefront or a collaboration that just isn't working for you, it's not worth your time. You're not making enough money for it to be worth the effort. The other thing I do want to mention here, though, Chelsea, is you guys, where did you waste money? Okay, what didn't work in your marketing this year? So when you're looking at your revenue sources, this is going to be an easy way for you to spot like, hey, I actually was kind of upside down on that. I spent more money trying to do that through this revenue source and it didn't work.
Yeah.
I think those are all important things to ask because, go ahead.
I have, finish your thought. Finish your thought.
Because you guys should be experimenting. That's part of what marketing is and running a small business. So we don't want you, don't have a negative connotation towards something that maybe didn't work out. Just say like, hey, I caught it early on. I don't want to continue dumping money into that particular, source. I'm just going to not do it next year.
There you go. I want to clarify something. If you are not making a lot of sales on your website, you still need to keep your website. That's not a revenue source that you should be getting rid of, because now in 2025, going into 2026, you need to have a website as a small business. It legitimizes your business. It helps people find you and learn more about you. So that is one revenue stream that don't get rid of that.
Yeah, you want to have online presence.
Yes, absolutely.
This episode of the S.O.B Marketing Podcast is brought to you by the S.O.B community. If you're a small business owner that is neglecting your marketing and you feel like you've wasted money and time on marketing help that didn't deliver, or if you're just craving support from people who actually get what it's like to run and promote a small business, then our membership community is for you. Visit school.com/SOB to sign up today to get instant access and weekly support. That's SKOOL.com/SOB.
Vivian, she was punting me the ball.
Yeah,
is that the phrase?
Is that the phrase? As if you don't watch football or soccer.
That's a good point. She was setting me up, like she was a slow pitch to me, and I just.
And now you switched to softball. I was slow pitching to her to to make her hit a home run for this next question.
Yes, because our next question is, what is my online presence? This is a big one. Everyone and their mama is online. That is a fact. So you need to be online.
Well, okay.
Oh.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. It's
Okay.
important that everyone, their mama is online. You need to be on there because if you're not, then you're going to look a little outdated and stuff.
Yeah.
But most importantly, it's because you're going to miss opportunity. Okay.
Yes.
And
That's true.
yeah,
that's the key here.
That's the key is we don't want you guys to miss out on the droves of people that are either using Google search, that are either using now ChatGPT,
Yeah.
Claude, all these chat bots that are now using Apple Maps, Google Maps, any of these listings to find your small business.
Absolutely. So ask yourself when it comes to online presence, what do people see when they Google my business?
Give yourself a Goog, you guys.
Yeah,
Google yourself.
Google yourself, which I really, really hope when they Google you, the first thing that comes up is your website. But
Or your Google business profile.
or your Google business profile. Maybe it's your social media. And you know what? That tells you a lot about, wow, I'm killing it on social media, that the first thing that pulls up is my TikTok. That's amazing.
If this is news to you, if you're like, what? Someone Googling me could potentially find my TikTok video, you need to go listen to our SEO
In 2026.
in 2026 podcast episode that we did because we talk about how these algorithms are changing. And to Chelsea's point, great. If you guys are killing it on TikTok, on Instagram, and people are finding you that way, who cares? We love that, right? They're going to click on your profile, make sure your profile in there has links to your website where they can buy your product or service. You're good to go.
Absolutely. Which, okay, next sub question to this question. Is my information up to date on all the things? Is your website up to date? Is my social media profiles up to date? Are all my links working? Are these even the links that I want to send people to? Make sure that you're taking the time to make
sure that you're making sure that you're
make sure that you're making sure. No, take the time to make sure that the information is correct and what you want to be sharing with potential customers.
Absolutely. And another reason for this is we know your business evolves, which means that maybe some of the links you were using before, some of the products you were pushing are not the same products or services you want to be pushing now.
Exactly.
You're allowed to change small business. It's okay. So we just want to be sure that everything that's out there is correctly linked and it is the information you want to appear whenever.
Yes. Absolutely. And also take the time to think about where you are online. So your website, your Google business profile, your social media profiles. Are you a restaurant? Look at Yelp. Make sure you're looking at Apple Maps because Apple Maps is different than Google Maps. All of these things, I would suggest taking the time and writing down everywhere that you are online and then going through each one and checking that everything is up to date.
And seeing what pops up. Yeah.
Yes.
Also good because I don't know if you guys are anything like me. I was posting on LinkedIn quite a bit for a little while.
Sure.
And then I quit. And it's not, I don't enjoy LinkedIn. So it's kind of one of the ones that got crossed off for me right now. But if that's the case, then I still need to be sure that I'm going in there and that the information is still relevant, right?
Yeah.
So even if it's an initiative that you started that then you're like, oh, I really don't maintain it. Okay, well, if someone is still able to find you there, at least go in there, edit one more time.
Yes.
And be sure that's all linking or pointing them to the one place you do want them to go to.
Yeah. We're not saying that you have to get back on LinkedIn.
No.
We're just saying that this is somewhere that people can find you. Just make sure they're finding the right information.
Right. So if you want to point them back to the website, to a blog, to a YouTube channel, whatever that is, be sure you go in there and state that, right?
Yes, absolutely. Okay, Vivian, our next question for our year-end review is going to be, if you could only do 3 marketing activities next year, what would they be? I love this question. We're not saying that you only get to do 3 marketing activities next year. We're saying, what do you need to prioritize?
Well, this is going to very quickly filter out for you the things that we add to our list because we see other people doing it, but it's not necessarily something that we either know is going to work for us or whatnot. I think by asking this question, what you're saying is, if I only had time to do 3 marketing activities next year, what would those be? It gives them importance. It gives them priority. And I think what it does is it kind of like everything else just falls to the wayside, and you're like, okay, if I'm going to focus my efforts on these things that bring me the most revenue and really do make sales for me, then how do I need to go about changing them, shaping them? What do I need to do now to prepare for 2026 so that I can truly capitalize on it?
I love that. Okay, Vivian, our last question we want you guys to ask yourselves is, what do your customers, what do my customers actually say about you? And when's the last time you asked them?
Yes.
This is it
loaded.
sounds like a simple question. It's a loaded question.
What this does is it prompts you to go in and to check your Google reviews, your Yelp reviews. It has you, looking, if you have product reviews on your website, you want to take a look at those. It also has you dig a little deeper to ask, how often am I asking people to leave me these reviews?
Yeah.
Is that automated? Is there a way for me to make that easier going into the next year? The one way that you can differentiate yourself is by being sure that you are getting this type of feedback, because for one, it allows you opportunity to improve your product or service if it's necessary, or it allows other people to trust your business. Okay. You're going to Charlotte, North Carolina. You want to eat out somewhere. You look at all the restaurants. One of them has 2 reviews and they're 5 stars, but then the other one has 1,000 reviews and it's 4.5 stars. Which one are you going to go with?
Exactly. Yeah.
I think it's the 2 reviews that are 5 stars. Yeah, that's great, but I'm kind of taking a gamble because there are only 2 reviews, all right? The other one has over 1,000 reviews. I think, it's pretty, the information can be trusted.
Exactly. And this is the perfect time to reevaluate how you're asking for feedback.
Yes.
Is it automated? Is it after every single purchase? Or are you kind of just winging it? Is there a process that you can build for 2026 where, if you can't do automation, at least have a process put together so you are consistently and constantly asking people to leave reviews?
Yeah, the other thing with this is we are big fans of utilizing the platforms you are using or the apps or the tools to their full extent. If you have an email platform, they may have something for you to be able to collect reviews, okay? Depending on what industry you're in. This could be something that you just haven't turned on.
Yeah.
If you have a POS system, point of sale system, this may be an option in there, right? Where at the bottom, it prints a QR code on the receipt and literally they just scan the QR code and all you have to do is copy and paste the correct link for it to send them to so that they can leave you a Google review. Yeah. We're also big fans of just you generate your own QR code and maybe put it on a small business card and have your employees hand it to someone at checkout, right?
Yeah.
Leave us a review, whatever that is. Or don't sleep on text, okay?
Yeah.
These days, everyone's doing a text. You can send a text through a SMS system that literally is like, we noticed you came in for a visit. Tell us how we did. Click here to leave us a review. Yeah. All of this is available to you. I think it's just a matter of looking at what tools you're using. If you're using an existing tool that has this available, and if not, then you could do it the old school way. That's okay too.
Love that. I think this was a little bit of a quicker conversation just because we are not there answering these questions with you. These are very loaded questions, though, so make sure you're giving yourself time to go through each one and answer it truthfully and thoroughly. Because, again, this is preparing you for success for 2026.
Yeah, and remember the thing I'll leave you with before Chelsea gets into the TLDL. You guys, it's all just information. Don't attach emotions or feeling like a failure or anything to any of this. All right, when you're doing this evaluation and you're asking yourself these 5 questions, be honest, put it on paper, because the sooner you're able to assess the situation in your small business for as it is, the quicker you'll be able to, make tweaks that is going to make 2026 a more successful year than what you've had. So, like we said, be prepared to find the gaps, be prepared to find the failures. Actually, I would argue that finding the failures is going to make it a little easier, because you'll be like, oh, great, tried that, didn't work, didn't like it, not going to do it next year, mark it off the list, right?
Absolutely.
But data is going to be really important, making sure that you yourself lay eyes, or I guess if you have an admin assistant, you could get them to go online reviewing your, online presence. Whatever it is, be sure that you're getting the full picture of where you're at as you close out this year.
Yes, I love that. I also have a pitch. Y'all, if you need help going through all these questions, you could join the SOB community. Yeah. And we can take an entire, I almost said episode. We have weekly Zoom calls that are an hour long. We can take an hour and sit there and go through all of these questions with you guys, if that's something that you would want to do with the time that we have with you guys. Okay, y'all, it's time for the TLDL. So if you skipped ahead to this section, I'm going to give you a brief summary of what we talked about today. But when you get the chance, go back and listen to this entire conversation, because that's where the good stuff is. So today we brought you guys 5 questions that we want you to ask yourselves here at the end of 2025 for your year-end review, so that you can prepare for 2026 and, I don't know, hit it out of the park, make cha-ching. So your 5 questions. Number 1, what marketing effort brought you the most customers this year, and do you actually know? 2, what do my revenue sources look like? 3, what is my online presence? 4, if you could only do 3 marketing activities next year, what would they be? And 5, what do customers actually say about you? And when's the last time you asked them? So those are your 5 questions that we want you guys to sit down with, take the time to answer them, and this will help you prepare for 2026. And again, heads up, December for us, our episodes are going to focus on preparing for 2026, because we know a new year means a new marketing budget or a new marketing plan, questions like that. So that's what December is going to be about for us. So make sure you're subscribed and following all of the things. Leave us a review. And you know what? You should go be the best SOB you can be.